He's the tallest man on the radio, so sit right back and enjoy the show. Fly through the air like a ballistic missile. Here's your host, Ben Kissel.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Ben Kissel Politics, the greatest political podcast going today. I am your host, Ben Kissel. You can find me on Instagram at BenKissel1, joined as always by Louis Extraordinaire. Wait, by Louis Extraordinaire? Oh my God, by producer extraordinaire, Louis Ramsey.
Hello, Internet.
Wow, well, what we just witnessed there was a little bit of entertainment. And that's what we're talking about today, politics and entertainment. I have a bunch of songs, political parodies. I've listened to them, so you have to listen to them. We're going to keep it relatively light. Don't worry, next week we'll continue with Epstein, and we're going to talk about Cognify, which is an interesting new form of imprisonment, and we'll discuss what's going on in Canada. But today, we're keeping it entertainment. I want to first start with a clip from Dirty Dutch Mantell. Now, Dirty Dutch, he's a bad dude. He was a heel character in the WWE for many, many years. His character was from the South, and his character was racist. Evidently, according to Dirty Dutch, Donald Trump saw his performance, loved it so much, he may have stolen the gimmick. So let's play Dirty Dutch talking about how he believes Donald Trump stole his gimmick as a heel, which all my fans know that means bad guy in professional wrestling speak, and brought it to the masses and is now president of the free world.
And I look up and it's Donald Trump. What happened to my America? We need to stop all this wild integration and get back to being one people. Then, of course, I got hit. Well, you're a bigot. You're a racist.
This is his
You're
character.
a xenophobe. I don't know how they got misogynistic, and I don't even know how women got in there. But I became every ist that they had. So whether I believe it or not doesn't matter. I was playing a character who believed that. So I finish it, and we go back to the dressing room. So while I'm talking to whoever's sitting right next to me here, I feel that on my shoulder. And I look up, and it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump says, I enjoyed your speech. It was beautiful. It was great. It's great. Thank you very much. Thank you. And shook my hand. Walked off. And little did I know that when he walked off with my gimmick. And all Make America Great is we the people on steroids.
Make America Great Again, brought to you by Dirty Dutch Mantell. So that's the man who is really in the White House right now. Of course, Dirty Dutch, he's a person who doesn't believe many or any of the things that his heel, to-be-hated character said inside of the squared circle, because, of course, that is entertainment. And as we're seeing now, as entertainment and politics have merged into one amorphous being that is leading all of us to question reality, we are all living in a kayfabe world. There are three relevant elements. I'm quoting here from a comedian, Munya Schwaza. And he has a documentary, and it's talking about the world of wrestling, professional wrestling, in regards to Donald Trump. Now, of course, there's a reason that Mick Foley, my favorite of all time, Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack, he signed with AEW, because he was upset with the WWE's ties to Donald Trump. Of course, Donald Trump, very close with the McMahons, with Linda McMahon being in charge of our education. So what could go wrong with that? This man points out three relevant elements to Donald Trump and what he took from the wrestling playbook. Number one, hyperbole, which Donnie definitely speaks in hyperbole. Number two, smack talk. And number three, kayfabe. Now, many of you obviously probably know what kayfabe is, but if you don't, kayfabe is creating a reality and having people be actors in that reality, unbeknownst to them or beknownst to them. Now, the people who have really nailed kayfabe from a military perspective is the IDF. Look at what they did with the pager situation when they sold a bunch of pagers to people who were evidently terrorists, Hamas terrorists, air quotes on all of that, because I think many of them were just trying to fight for their own freedom in Gaza. Some of them probably scumbags, to be fair. But they set up an entire world where a pager company existed, and then they sold they gave great deals, and the people were like, we need to buy those. So they actively bought them without realizing that they just completed the circuit for this IDF mission. They were creating a world, a kayfabe world. It's what the CIA does. It's what all intelligence groups do. Now, in the world of professional wrestling, it's really, really fun because you can have people like Danhausen come out and say, you're cursed. And it's really cool. And you're like, oh my God, is Danhausen actually a wizard? Is he from hell? Does he have magical powers? And it's awesome. But when you extend that out to a world that is now addressing, international affairs and terrorism and war and peace, it becomes a very convoluted lie that makes it difficult to see what the truth is. So Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, the nicknames that Donald Trump gave, absolutely out of the pro wrestling playbook. Of course, Donald Trump also in the WWE Hall of Fame. So we see him come to rise. He is rising with the knowledge that professional wrestling gave him. It was 2013. That's when it was the billionaire versus the billionaire battle in WWE. It was a hair-for-hair match. Of course, Donald Trump won because I don't think a razor can cut through whatever that thing is on top of his head. So Vince McMahon had to have his head shaved. But he learned a lot. He learned a lot from professional wrestling on how to influence people, how to get people's attention. There was a reason that CNN gave him hundreds of times more coverage than any other candidate in 2015 and then complained when he won. The man understands spectacle. We're going to talk about America 250, and we'll talk about the UFC event as well. That is all from the professional wrestling playbook. So we have a situation where it's coming to fruition in our politics. If you look no further than what's happened here in Los Angeles, Spencer Pratt, of course, coming from the reality show sphere, which for all intents and purposes is kayfabe. Reality shows are not reality. WWE is, again, probably more realistic in the sense that you can actually get hurt while doing it than reality shows. But you have somebody like Spencer Pratt. There was a new poll that came out from McLaughlin and Associates, and it shows the reality TV star turned mayoral candidate with 30% of support. Now you might think, well, don't you need to get 50? Well, Karen Bass only has 29% of the support, and Nithya Raman has 23%. And as we've seen in American politics, you might assume, well, Nithya's supporters are going to go and support Bass if she has to drop out, so on and so forth. But people, their minds are different than we've given them credit for in many ways. So just because you're supporting Nithya, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to support Karen. Some of them may actually go and support Spencer Pratt. So that's the world that we are in now as, again, entertainment and politics have come together. I want to play some clips here of musicians. Now, these are you and I. These are musicians from America, and there's a lot of them. So let's just start with remix. Donald Trump. Here's a Trump remix. And again, I think it exemplifies the world that we live in of entertainment and politics having a crazy, crazy baby. And in this case, I think the baby has ADHD because it sounds all spastic and strange. But here's a Donald Trump remix that I don't know if it helps or hurts him. I don't know anything when it comes to that anymore. Every time you think he's going down, someone seems to love it. So let's just play it.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that?
Kind of catchy.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what.
I mean, he is the president. It's embarrassing, but
they violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs like I've never seen before. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when they say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. The biggest load that we've seen.
Kenneth
Well,
Copeland.
we basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know
What the fuck they're doing? I mean, I would, if I was at a club, Lewis, would you dance to this?
I
I'm dancing a little bit right now.
I'm dancing a little bit. I'm tapping my toe. It is what it is. We have another one. Let's play the other Trump remix song. And these are club beats. This is the world we're living in now. And again, these are serious situations. Thousands of people are dying, billions of dollars being wasted. We're on the brink of World War III. Israel just said they want to start going over and taking over in Egypt and other places. They're expanding. Their reign all over the Midwest, or all over the Middle East. This was my brain today.
Hopefully not the Midwest.
They might be coming to the Midwest. So there's serious things at play. But of course, again, as entertainment is on the forefront of this episode, let's continue going with these fantastic Donald Trump beats. This one is using the language that he used, I believe, talking about people in Ohio, immigrants in Ohio, when he said during the campaign, I don't know if you guys remember this because I kind of forgot because there's so much crazy stuff that happens. When he said that everyone's eating cats and they're eating dogs, he's like, people have said their cats and dogs are going missing, and the immigrants are eating all their cats and dogs, which that wasn't true. And of course, one would say that was one of the isms that Dirty Dunch talked about, racism. But let's play this remix of Donald Trump talking about people eating cats and dogs.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
Yeah, Dog Jerry perked up. You see her sleeping, not anymore.
Do
you hear this, Dog Jerry?
Eat the cat.
I'm about to help you, Jerry. Eating the dogs, eating the cats. They're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. So it softens the blow a little bit. I mean, he won. He won, partially because of that, mostly because, as we're learning with Jill Biden's new book, every single person in the Democratic Party thought that Joe Biden was having a stroke on stage, and they still said that this was the smartest he's ever been. And now Joe Biden, of course, is throwing the entire Democratic Party under the bus just in time for the primary. Isn't that funny, the way that these people always seem to put themselves first?
Is she selling a book or something?
She's selling a book.
Okay. So.
And she literally is in the book being like, Kamala, she begged for our endorsement. We didn't even know if we wanted to give it. And then she says, when speaking of performance, that was the day that Donald Trump won the presidency. We could have just fast forwarded to the day of the election. Speaking of performance, she says that she thought that Joe was having a stroke. Well, isn't that nice? Because afterwards they tried to swing it and be like, he had a cold. He was a little bit under the weather. And then in real life, she's like, I think he's actively having a stroke, which is elder abuse. You can stop the debate. You can just stop the debate at any time and be like, yo, he's having... They probably should have done that. They should have had, speaking of kayfabe, they should have brought a stretcher out like they do in the WWE, brought him down, put him down, been like, he's going to the hospital. He's had a stroke, folks. Maybe he would have gotten a little bit of empathy, a little bit of sympathy, as opposed to whatever the hell we all felt while watching that. There was some sympathy and some empathy, but also there was a lot of anger, being like, wait, what? How are you the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party?
I also feel like people were
Donald Trump to just walk in.
People were just upset that, like, it seemed like we were being lied to, I think, more than the fact that he's having an episode. Is like, well, we all see this. Can we just be honest about what's happening?
Please, God, why are you running for re-election at all? But I digress. Let's just continue on. We'll talk about politics and sports here momentarily, but there's a couple of other artists that I want to showcase. There's one here. This song, it's just called Fuck Trump, and it's interesting. It says fuck Trump and fuck ICE and fuck fascists, and the guy seems pretty proud of himself, so we can play this.
Hey Nazis,
Fuck you. Hey MAGA, fuck you. Hey Proud Boys, fuck you. Hey Elon, fuck you. Fascist. It's not a very clever song, but this is the part that I like. Oh, fuck Trump, fuck Trump. Ole, 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 ole. Fuck Trump. Powerful performance. Ole, 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 ole. There we go. He was very proud of himself, and then he said, "Yeah."
I'll say that was very beautiful, but I don't know that the vibe matched the lyrics. Like it was pretty happy sounding. Like I would not think he's upset about Trump just based on like if I didn't speak English, I'd be like, "Oh, this is a fun, happy song."
Right, and they'll be like, "I guess he wants to have sex with our president and Elon." That is true. Isn't that weird about music? Some of the darkest lyrics come in like the most sugar sounding poppy songs.
That was very 90s. Like
what was that? What's that one song?
There's Semi-Charm Life where they're talking about being addicted to heroin and they're like do I do heroin.
Doop. Have you ever driven on heroin? Bop, 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 bop. Also, what is it? Pumped Up Kicks.
Yeah, that's about
that. Literally, song is just like I hope you can run faster than my bullets. I'm shooting up the school, and literally, it's one of my favorite songs ever. Well, Trumpers are also out there, and they also are very artistic. Let's play the new MAGA anthem. These guys, they're serious, and they love freedom the way that only Donald Trump can provide it. So let's play these MAGA people coming after that other guy. Let's pretend there's a feud here, and you let us know in the comments, who do you think is winning the true culture war, which is the political parody songs that I search on Instagram.
From the shores of California,
oh yes,
all the way down to the Keys.
Only He will bring us closer when we fall to our knees.
And He'll lift us from the ground.
National Security Advisor. I think that's Michael Flynn. I swear to God.
That we never lost our freedom. It's in His glory.
Auto-tune.
You can take all our money, but you can't have our soul.
Look, I mean, can I have my money, please? Don't take my money.
And we'll still find a home.
That's
we
nice.
will all stick together.
This is like a really bad We Are the World.
We'll never surrender.
Where I don't recognize any of the singers.
Are they supposed to be famous?
One of those people was an influencer that I recognize.
Break it down. We are running and they are doing, you can take our houses, but you know what? We're going to find another one. And I do think that was Michael Flynn. You know Michael Flynn, the National Security Advisor?
I don't know him by
Lord.
image.
Yes, I believe that was him exploring his beautiful, beautiful singing voice, which I love it when former military get into music. That's a great career arc. Yeah, I went over to Iraq, had a couple of war crimes. And now I'm in the true nasty business that is the music industry. Yep, there you go. Lastly, let's play. This is a Trump song. It's a theatrical song. Now, this, I believe, is also an anti-Trump song. But we'll play it, and we'll let the audience really, again, just consume this. At some point, if we continue to go down the road that we're going down, this will be it. These will be our only forms of entertainment. It reminds me of Demolition Man, which I think is one of the most predictive films of all time, of present day and the future that we are unfortunately careening towards. Demolition Man and basketball. Everyone always talks about Idiocracy. Demolition Man and basketball. Those are the two greatest, I've said this before, but the two greatest predictors of what we're currently going through. But of course, in Demolition Man, all they listened to was commercial jingles. And we're getting there. As a matter of fact, I think in some songs, literally there's one country song that's just like, going to Applebee's, and they just break down the Applebee's venue. And I like old country music, don't get me wrong, but that kind of country music is the single worst music that's ever been created. But let's play this song. It's a little bit more theatrical, and it's political, because that's the world we live in.
So let's check off some symptoms of this syndrome going round. The stress when your country's a mess, or the blues when you turn on the news feeling sick. When you look at this brick, that's Trump derangement.
So I can't tell if it's positive or negative.
Miss when facts were all true, feel insane, cause you have half a brain or bereft, cause democracy's F. That's Trump derangement. You might get a fright when the stock market's red, or itch
hamburger's actually doing okay.
The Department of Ed. You could spend 4 years in bed, girl. It certainly ain't psychosis. I'll give you your diagnosis. You smoke. Cause they say you're just woke, overspent. Because you're scared we might end humankind. You're not losing your mind. The world is enraged with a world of Trump derangement.
Is this positive or negative? Can you tell, Lewis?
I think this is negative. I think that's a term people use, the Trump derangement
syndrome, but he uses that to make fun of people who don't like him.
Now that suddenly fact is fiction, and honey, there's no prescription.
I don't know.
When our allies all turn or get gas.
This is probably the best performance so far.
Probably the most original.
Yeah, I think so.
To be fair, this is not the one I've listened to, but I did listen to another one.
Which one are you going to go with?
Honestly, maybe one of the Trump remixes. I'm not a big fan of musical theater, so.
Oh, wow. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't hate it, though.
I don't hate it either. It's just not my thing.
Randy Rainbow. Congratulations, Randy. Absolutely fantastic song. I have to assume it's making fun of Donald Trump, but again, I don't fully know. Yeah, Trump derangement syndrome. TDS. He talks about it all the time. Basically, if someone has any critique about him, he says, you got TDS, which is, of course, a made-up term going back to the world that we live in, which is entirely kayfabe. All right, let's talk about sports. Jackson Dart, he found himself in a little bit of trouble. Jackson Dart is the quarterback for the New York Giants. He went to go speak in front of Donald Trump. Donald Trump said he's a future Hall of Famer. Because of this, Abdul Carter, who was on the Giants, was like, Jesus, okay. He says, I thought this was AI. What are we doing here, man? He says that they are fine. They are still, they're teammates. They're not going to, get into a fist fight over this. But then Carter said, well, when I stand up for what I believe in, don't come after me, Mr. Jackson Dart. We also have what's happening in New York with the New York Knicks. Now, Donald Trump wants to do what nobody else has ever done, which is sit courtside for the NBA Finals. Can we have one damn thing? One thing to us, just to us, the American people, just the lowly, even though the courtside tickets are literally like $300,000, that's not an exaggeration. Can we just have one fucking thing? The Knicks haven't been in the NBA Finals for 27 years. Can we just have one pure thing, which is a sport in which people get millions and millions of dollars to play as people are suffering and spend thousands of dollars to go see it. The innocence of American athletics. Can we just have that? Donald Trump has said that he is going to sit courtside. He says he's very good friends with James Dolan. He says, I was invited. I was going to go on Wednesday, but they closed it out very quickly. They have some great players. I think they'll be going to the big show. Donald Trump also got into a fight with Governor Hochul. We have a clip from her where she tries to pretend as if she knows about sports as well. None of these politicians know anything. But let's play this clip of Governor Hochul trying to slam dunk on Donald Trump, and then it turns out to be a massive brick. And again, just how is the Democratic Party so bad at winning? Much like the Knicks were for the past 27, damn near 30 years. Come on, baby, we got to get this championship. But let's play a Hochul sticking her foot in her mouth.
What do you think of him saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan? I think that's how the Times reported it.
I asked him to name the starting lineup from 1993 championship team and see how he does.
Okay. They didn't win a championship in 1993. So she doesn't know what she's talking about. It was 1973. That was the championship team. And I guarantee you she cannot name that championship team. I believe it was Willis Reed. Debouchier was on there. Clyde Frazier, the man who dresses just absolutely beautifully. That was 1973. So Donald Trump says, boy, what a team. They win all their games. They really have some great players. So he says the Knicks have really suffered for years. That's what he said. So to increase or to add to that suffering, Donald Trump is going to sit courtside. And I have heard, and this makes me want to vomit, Benjamin Netanyahu might join him. I don't know if this is going to get me in trouble or not, but we've seen the plot of Naked Gun. We know what they did with Reggie Jackson. Must kill the Queen. When they had Reggie Jackson, they had a chip implanted or something like that. And as soon as a signal went off during the 7th inning stretch, Reggie Jackson went and grabbed a gun under second base, tried to go and kill the Queen. I'm not saying that's going to happen at the basketball event where Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are sitting. Courtside, I'm just saying. Wouldn't that be kind of a unique situation? So we have that on the basketball front, on the football front, and then on the music front, we have Freedom Fest 250. This is Freedom 250. Many artists, 5 to be exact, have dropped out because they didn't realize how political it was going to be. Which again, how don't you know this? I don't know. I'm also not, the people who have dropped out, this is not going to make them like really successful again. This isn't like the big moment where everyone's going to be like, you know what, Bret Michaels from Poison? I didn't like you. I thought Poison was maybe a glam band that simply copy and pasted what glam music was in the 80s and then slowly dissipated throughout the 90s. But then all of a sudden, you dropped out of Freedom 250, and now I think you're cool again. He has dropped out along with 5 other artists, which nobody cares about. And I hate to say that, but that's just the facts. So Michael joins Morris Day, Young MC, the Commodores, and maybe the biggest surprise, Martina McBride. She has also pulled out. But, yeah, she has. I thought that was my job. But many artists are still, they're supporting it. They love it. They're going to be there. Milli Vanilli, he's one of them. He's sticking around. Milli Vanilli, of course, the famous band who I believe truly was screwed over by the entertainment industry. I get it. They were lip syncing. They were lying. They were victims. They were pawns. One of the people in Milli Vanilli ended up committing suicide, which was super sad. Their entire careers were ruined when they were thrown under the bus because everyone's like, we thought you were the one singing. It's like they didn't have any control over any of this shit. They're actors. These are theater kids. And the music industry was like, by the way, you're the face of this new band. Can we sing? No, you actually can't sing. You're talentless when it comes to that. Although they could dance and they looked good. But they were not very good singers. So they had singers that could sing but probably looked like me. So no one wanted to see them in skimpy clothing dancing around the stage, gyrating. But they could actually sing. Anyway, we know what happened with Milli Vanilli. He's still going to perform. Flo Rida, he's going to be there. And for those that don't know, Flo Rida, I believe he's from Florida. Perhaps he's a Trumper. We don't know. CNC Music Factory, speaking of groups that took the voices of beautiful, large black women and said, I'm sorry, lady. Yeah, we love your voice, but we're going to have to put you in the back. And then they got models to go and do voiceover for these beautiful black women that were actually the singers for CNC Music Factory, giving them no credit whatsoever, as they deserve all the credit. Another person who is going to sing is Vanilla Ice. Now, Vanilla Ice is sort of having a resurgence because of his song Ice Ice Baby, which has been retrofitted to sound like he's singing about ICE enforcement, where they're killing all these people and putting a bunch of kids in prison and separating families and Ice Ice Baby. You know how fun that is. Vanilla Ice, he also had a show on HGTV where he was doing construction, but evidently the construction that he was doing was real bad, so they had to cancel the show. And the song Ice Ice Baby, Lewis and I were talking before the show, I don't even think he gets any money for it because it's the Rolling Stones beat.
It's Queen. It's
Queen.
Yeah, it's like Queen with David Bowie.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
One of my favorite VH1 behind the music moments ever. When Vanilla Ice is like, no, it's not the same. See, they say, and I say, and it's like, no, it's the exact same. But anyway, I don't even think he gets money off of this. But let's play Vanilla Ice talking about how proud he is to be performing at Freedom 250 to bring him back into the pop culture fold.
Let me walk away from this construction site. This just in. There's a situation.
Still doing construction, I guess. I don't
It's
know.
going down. America is turning 250. Come
250?
on, man. Let's go. I'm super honored to do this concert with everybody. We're going to bring back the 90s. Put your dancing shoes on.
Cool.
You'll be happy. Trust me. It's all about enjoying the great times of 250 years, man, from George Washington to now. And all the presidents and everybody in between. This is a magical event that's going to happen, and very rare. So
very rare.
I'm honored, man. This is going to be epic. And that's it.
250.
We don't take anything too serious, man. We're going to bring the 90s. That's how it works. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Whoa!
So we're going to turn everybody into a teenager for the night. Proud to be an American.
Nah, please, God, don't
and,
do that. Don't
proud and
don't,
honored
don't.
for this event. So get in where you fit in, and we'll see you there.
Get
Holla,
in where you fit in. That's going to be the if I ever find a lady, that'll be my first thing. Like, get in where you fit in. That's great though, and it's great for people in Washington D.C. Everyone's going to be turned into teenagers again. But they're not really teenagers, so these guys can go in and prey on them, and then by midnight they're adults again, so they might get away with it. Again, we'll talk about Epstein files next week. So this is a big Freedom 250. It's a big event. I'm also just struck by how new this country still is. 250 years is nothing. Whenever you travel over to Europe, they'll be like, this building was made in the year 9. And you're like, what? There was a year 9? And it still stands today. And they serve the same hot soup as they served then. 250. That's it, Lewis. We are such a baby nation. And so I guess, do we give each other, we're in our terrible twos. We're in a toddler phase as well. I guess in the larger scope of a nation, maybe every year is really just 100 years. So I think we're 2.5 right now. Maybe by 3 or 4 years old, we'll have things slightly more figured out, and we'll be able to put the blocks in the right thing, in the right hole for the toy that we're playing. So Freedom 250 is going to be big. And just lastly, to bring it all together, we also have a UFC event. Now, this event is happening June 14th. I thought this event was going to be for July 4th, but I guess not. It's going to be outdoors. Joe Rogan, he says he don't like it. He doesn't like this because he says no one should be fighting outside. This is actually not a celebration for the country. It's a celebration for Donald Trump's 80th birthday. So Donald Trump, we both have established, Lewis and I, that we're not good at math, but he is 80 years old. The country is 250 years old. So he's been alive for how much of this country's history?
That's like
35%?
A quarter, a little over a quarter, because 8 times 4 would be 240.
There you go. You said you were bad at math. I didn't know I was dealing with a whiz.
Oh, wait, did I do that math wrong?
I have no idea.
That's
literally
times 3. 8 times 3 is 24, which would get you to the 80 to the 240. Yeah. So you're actually pretty close.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. So Donald Trump is turning 80. The country is turning 250. Obviously, I guess July 4th. That's the official day. But I thought this event was for the country. But no, this is literally for Donald Trump's birthday, this UFC event. Even Joe Rogan says, what the hell are we doing here? He says it's going to be 100 degrees. He says it's odd and it's a gimmick. Construction outside the White House has begun, and the president expects 4,000 people to attend. Now, they're not selling tickets. So who is going to attend? Obviously, politicians invited by the president, and then military members. I did read that only military members that aren't fat. They did say you have to be fit. And I mean, I guess we want our military fit. So they say if you're in good shape and you look good on camera, because all of this, again, is a reality show. All of this is professional wrestling, although this being UFC. Trump told reporters earlier this week that he predicts tens of thousands of more UFC fans will be watching on large screens all across the White House. The backdrop is going to be UFC 250. This is what Dana White said. He says, we've got it all dialed in, and then we have to execute that night. We're putting on the most historic sporting event in history, and now we have to deliver. We absolutely will positively deliver. So isn't that nice? So they're going to positively deliver. So from football to basketball to UFC and to music, every single one of the things that we should hold sacred as a nation are being penetrated like a large prickly octopus, penetrated by American politics. And to be honest, it's just causing a colossal pain in the ass. If you're a musician, I also don't. Bret Michaels took to social media. He had this massively long post. He says, when the opportunity was originally presented to my team, it was described as a celebration for the country. As many of you know, I've spent my entire career bringing people together through music, positivity, and good vibes. My shows have never been about politics. At the same time, I guess congratulations to Brett. What do you think, Lewis? You're in the music sphere. Does it matter if these politicians perform, or does it matter if these musicians perform or not? I literally, to me, it doesn't change anything.
Also, to be honest, nobody on that list is like a desirable talent that is getting booked for
anything.
This is like a county fair level lineup. Like this is a big nothing burger for everybody involved.
Yeah.
I also think like I almost know Bret Michaels more. I mean, Poison happened before my time. I was born in 1990, so they're kind of like washed up. But he did like Rock of Love on VH1.
That's right, Rock of Love.
I know him more as like. Also, I think he was on a bunch of like Making the Band shows. Like he was like a reality TV star.
Yeah, he got into that big time. That's probably where he probably made more money doing that.
He and Vanilla Ice with his like scam construction show.
That's right. All right. Well, just lastly, before we get to a phone call, speaking of sports and politics, Vietnam. Remember Vietnam when we were over there and we fought the war for no reason and then everyone died and then we were mean to them when they got back and they were homeless and we didn't take care of them and everything. Vietnam it's the new home for a Trump golf course. And apparently a small cemetery nestled between fruit farms in northern Vietnam has to be excavated so that they can make a golf course on it. So it's a $1.5 billion golf course. So they're digging up graves. So that's not going to be a haunted golf course. So enjoy that, Vietnam. When you go to Vietnam to vacation and you play at the Trump golf course, don't forget that used to be a cemetery. It used to be a graveyard. So that's kind of fun. All right. Well, let's get to a phone call.
All righty. Yeah, I just had the Knicks 1973 roster pulled up.
Oh, what do we got? Who we got here? How right? Yeah, good.
Willis Reed,
Earl the Pearl.
David Bouchier. Bill Bradley.
Now, Bill Bradley, speaking of politics and sports, he went on to become a senator, a very, very successful politician out of New York.
Jerry Lucas was the forward and center.
Got you. I believe he went on to be a head coach for the San Antonio Spurs, I believe.
Is this the same Phil Jackson?
And that is the Phil Jackson that we know from the Chicago Bulls and with the Los Angeles Lakers. He also was with the Knicks for a while, and he completely and utterly screwed that team over because the Knicks didn't really buy into Phil Jackson's mentality of Buddhism or whatever the hell he believes in. I forget. Well, let's go on to a phone call.
All right, here we go.
Benjamin, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, King Louis the
Howdy.
Producer extraordinaire on the ones and twos.
That's right, ones and twos, and three sometimes.
Yeah, so this is a political thing. So Ben, I would like your thoughts on this. I did not write this, but it's something I've kind of lived by since I heard it. The overriding problem is to change the structure of society so that people can gain power. The best arena to do this is the municipality, aka the city, the town, and the village, where we have an opportunity to create a face-to-face democracy.
Right.
That's, of course, from Murray Bookchin. He's an anarchist philosopher.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm just curious on your thoughts on that. And also that I just watched the newest political episode, that caller from Missouri that said go Broncos. I grew up in Carolinas, and for the longest time, from the time I was a child, I pulled for the Packers.
Oh, let's go. Go Pack, go.
The Panthers until I was 6 years old.
Yeah, fuck the Panthers.
So I had
don't
for them, and I still don't. And then 2020 rolled around, and the Raiders moved to Vegas.
Okay, got you.
You know, Vegas. You know, I think there's no other city in this country that better represents the late stage scary ass capitalism we live in. So now I'm for the Raiders. Also, I fucking Aaron Rodgers taking medical advice.
Whoa, leave Aaron alone.
Turned me completely off of the Packers. What? Anyways, so I guess that's a twofer on political shit. But that first quote, the Murray Bookchin quote, I'd like to know what you think about that. Hell yourselves.
Thank you.
Bella ciao, baby.
Baby. See you later, pal. Thank you so much. I was just at Allegiant Stadium with watching WrestleMania, which sort of ties this whole thing together with my little brother. And what a beautiful stadium. We stayed over at Luxor, walking. You just walk. It's a 15-minute walk to the stadium. Just a gorgeous stadium. So if the Packers ever go to play the Raiders at Allegiant. I am going to be there with balls on. Face-to-face democracy is what we have to get back to. Next week, we'll talk more about some of the candidates that are thriving, specifically Graham Plattner in Maine. One positive thing about nothing being trustworthy, being able to really, again, not trust anything you see online or on television, we have to start seeing things with our own two eyes. We also saw a man maybe wearing a mask on Fox News, so can we even trust our own damn eyes? But face-to-face democracy is the only answer to all of this. We have to be able, these politicians are not supposed to be on another level. These are supposed to be representative of us. It's a form of direct democracy that we must see. And again, we've made fun of Donnie a lot. One thing that he did do, I'll always give credit where credit is due. The one thing that he did do was he had event after event after event after event after event, and he puts himself out there and he looks at people. And that was the one horrible thing the Democratic Party hasn't been able to figure out yet. I think Graham Plattner, again, is doing a good job of that. Also on the opposite side, I think Spencer Pratt is kind of doing a good job of that. But without face-to-face interaction, connection, communication, contact, we're never going to know who these people are. And even with that, we're getting the smallest sliver of how they might govern. You can always have a John Fetterman-like situation happen where you vote for one guy, he has a stroke, and another guy got elected. But face-to-face democracy is our last chance, our best hope, and one of the positive consequences of the rise of AI and all the misinformation out there. One of the few positives is hopefully it drives people to get off their couch, get in their car, go for a drive, watch a politician speak, go to town halls. I mean, that's the one thing that's been encouraging. Speaking of AI and data centers, watching people at town halls, and it's direct democracy is not pretty. It's not it's peaceful, but there's going to be some yelling, and that's okay. That's okay. They can't take that right away from us.
Are there still politicians in face-to-face democracy? Because the thing I'm reading says citizens propose, debate, and pass legislation themselves. So wouldn't that negate the need for politicians?
As human beings are, there's always going to be one person in charge.
That's true.
So that's just them getting together. They just described a city council, basically. But yeah, the goal is to have someone that has to face consequences. So when you go and you sell out your community and you poison the water, it doesn't matter because I'm Ted Cruz, and when I help out this energy company that's screwing over most of Texas, I just go over to Maui anyway, so it doesn't matter. You got to stay with the people and suffer with the people. If they suffer under your policies, you should too. I mean, that's one of the things, going back to Spencer Pratt, with the Eaton fires and the Palisades fires. Everyone is fucking pissed off because they suffered, and whether he did or not, he did lose his home. But at the very least, he is expressing frustration that many people had because he suffered under policies from Karen Bass, and she did not. So my idea, or my thought is, with a face-to-face democracy, with somebody who lives in your neighborhood, if they pass legislation that poisons the water like they did in Flint, they also have to drink that same poisoned water. So maybe they'll think twice about doing it. But anyway. All right. Anything else, Lewis? We don't need to do a phone call, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think...
Celebrity, politic, direct democracy, whatever.
I have a thought on direct democracy. I mean, I think almost verifiably a democratic republic is not working for us. I don't know anybody that sees the state of our politics and is like, this is working great.
We're doing really good, yeah.
I think a democratic republic essentially creates a ruling class and a citizen class. And I think the ruling class just there's too much temptation to take bribes from companies. It's created a power imbalance that is basically breeds people making decisions for themselves instead of for the people they're supposed to be governing. I don't believe the people governing. It's that's not a jury of my peers. The people that are in power they're not one of us. They enter a different thing. And I think just having that separation kind of makes it so they're looking out for their own self-interest and not the people they're governing. So I do like the idea of everybody being involved instead of being we're going to elect these people and just let them figure it out because they're clearly not figuring it out.
And I love that. The temptation is there. And you might go in, an innocent person, and you say, I'm going to fight for the working class people. You know, a year in, they're like, well, here you go, pal. You can make this much money if you just, morality slips slowly. And that is one thing I will say about Thomas Massey that I do like. He's a big nerd. Again, the guy who just lost his seat in Kentucky, but he doesn't wear his congressional pin. He equated it to Gollum and the ring, and that's the power ring. And that, of course, I believe is the parable or the most important thing that I got out of, the idea of the powerful ring. It has to be in the hands of a Frodo, because someone like a Gollum will use it for negative things and be destroyed by it. So that is really the temptation to become corrupt. It's there, and that's why I think it's important to have people that hold you accountable and staying with those people and hearing their thoughts, so you don't get so lost as, of course, corporate America comes to dilute or straight up redirect your political ideology. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much.
Can I do a quick rumor?
A rumor, yes.
Allegedly, this was reported by TMZ on Instagram.
Oh, we have an allegedly.
For my own sake, I'm saying allegedly, but I read this. I don't know how true it is. They said that reality television star and Los Angeles mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt signed a contract to film a reality show documenting his political campaign.
He did.
But part of that contract stipulates if he is successful, he has to, through his term, film the show.
Yeah, that's real.
That's
so
crazy.
That's officially that is it. That is the most merged we could possibly be with a reality show government. It literally will be. Oh, Lord. All right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Have a blessed weekend. Love yourself, hail yourself. Oh, love yourself, be yourself, hail yourself. Talk to you soon. Bye.